The gentleman from Florida.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your judicious handling of this committee in some kind of rough waters here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse anymore. We beat a lot of dead horses today. I think what I'm looking for, and really what my colleagues are really looking for, and our people back home are looking for, is probably just a big picture approach. You know, I think everybody is upset with at least some of us perceive as a crisis of the day management of the situation. They think this is a solution, and no, that's not it. It's over here, and now we're going to have son of tarp, grandson of tarp, great-grandson of tarp. You know, when will it ever stop? And most businesses would approach this, and I think most prudent people with a long-term plan, you know, a plan that maps out the contingencies and just doesn't walk around every day looking for more landmines, more bad reports, and more changes and adjustment. And I haven't ever seen that. You know, hopefully somewhere there's a flow chart that says, here's the direction we want to go, here's what we want to accomplish, and here's the way that we measure if we're on task or not. If we reach this point, we need to do this. If we don't reach that point, these are the contingencies. I think everybody would be so much more comfortable dealing with this if we saw a real legitimate plan, a timeline that would let everyone know, the public as well, would provide a transparency with where we've been, we know where we are, and where we hope to go. But just shooting in the dark every day, you know, crisis du jour, what is it today? What's the next new plan that's going to solve all these problems? You know, I really don't have much comfort in that, and I can't imagine how anybody would. So are you familiar with the plan, or are you prepared to help us set forth on a plan? I mean, you know, we wouldn't take a vacation without a roadmap. We wouldn't try and leave the district. You can try to get around the district right now for me without a roadmap, but we've got no roadmap for the financial future of this country, and it's really pretty scary.
Well, Congressman, that's a very good question. I'm sure you appreciate how complex and difficult this whole situation has been. I do think there is a plan. First, I should mention the Federal Reserve has been very aggressive on a lot of fronts, both in terms of lowering interest rates, both short-term and long-term interest rates, and providing liquidity to the system. Secondly, the Treasury now has essentially a 5-point plan. It includes supervisory review, putting in capital, buying assets off of balance sheets, the foreclosure mitigation plan, and then the joint program with the Federal Reserve, the TALF, which will help get the securitization markets going. That covers all the major elements needed to get the banking system going again. But then to make this all work for the future, in order to avoid an AIG or a similar situation, we also have to very seriously undertake a financial reform program. Federal Reserve has developed some proposals, which I talked about last week. Treasury, I know Secretary Geithner will be here on Thursday to talk about the Treasury's proposals. So I think there is a plan. You know, if you've ever read books on battles and warfare, you know that a lot of battles are very chaotic at the beginning until the situation becomes clearer and the smoke starts to clear. I think we've gotten to the point now where we can see the terrain, and we are taking the steps necessary to stabilize the situation and get out of this this downturn we're in.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I hope that most battles are won with a good plan. But a 5-point plan I kind of see is just like we're going to throw these 5 Hail Marys, and we hope to make a touchdown or maybe 5 touchdowns. But I'd really like to see more detail. In other words, you know, if the receiver, for whatever reason, your fault, my fault, God's fault, his fault, nobody's fault, drops the ball, well, that plan's out of the way. Now what are we going to do with that plan? With that first Hail Mary when we didn't, you know, what's the contingency plan? And that's what I haven't seen unfold. You know, the lack of accountability, and a large part of the reason that we're not here is we didn't measure stuff properly. You know, what usually doesn't get measured doesn't get done. You know, same with production. If you don't measure something, it usually means it's not important and it doesn't get finished. And if we set out on a path to solve this crisis, and I believe y'all have the brains and the wisdom and the experience to do it if we stay on task, the less politicized it is, the better. And the less politicized it'll be, the more clear your path is. But I think everyone needs to know what we expect to happen tomorrow and the next day and the next week and the next month.
The gentleman's time has expired. And so